Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome yet again to another stream for the Osu Mania 7 Key World Cup 2024 quarterfinals. We have the United States returning once again in this losers bracket, trying to make it into the semifinals, but in their way is Germany, the number 18 seed, in the same spot as them, trying to get themselves into that semifinals spot. I'm Toph Daddy, one of your commentators, joined by Sparky. How's it going?
It's going absolutely fantastic. There is no rest for the weary for those in the lower bracket. Got to do those conditional matches, and we're going to kick off those conditionals with pretty electrifying matchup here. As you mentioned, the United States taking on Germany to see who punches their ticket into that semifinals. A lot on the line for these two countries, and honestly, this could potentially go either way. They both had some pretty good showings in their previous match. So a little bit of information, maybe both teams watching each other, their previous performances, being able to take out their respective opponents. So we might see some strategy being employed here. Maybe some picks going to be a little bit different, but common knowledge going to be the name of the game for this match.
Absolutely is. We've seen some interesting scores. We saw a few that are matching up between the two matches that we saw. Three maps in particular. We saw Rice 4, Rice 2, and then LN 4. So those are the three matches that we've seen that are the same between these two teams. We could see the two teams kind of avoiding them. Maybe if they feel super confident in one of those three, they'll go for it. But we've got our first ban coming in. Hybrid 2 gets banned out. They banned that in the previous match as well. Not too surprising. It's a minute and 22 seconds. Singular mistakes cost you a lot on that map. And as a higher seed, I think you want to avoid something where one mistake loses you a map.
Yeah, for sure. And Germany answering back, getting rid of Rice 1. And going over those protects, looks like it was Rice 3 and Rice 4 for both of these countries. Unsurprising seeing the Rice 4 protect from the United States. They had quite a good showing on that against Sweden just a little bit ago. A couple of misses here and there, but just having Bunsen being able to just pop off with that 99
What an interesting choice from Germany. You mentioned the protect from the United States, getting picked immediately by the opposition.
That is a pretty bold proposition.
That's a bold move. That is a bold move from Germany, especially seeing how well Bunsen did on this in the previous match.
Yeah, for sure. If they can replicate that, especially because of the fact that there really wasn't that much turnaround between their previous match and this one, could still potentially be on a bit of a hot streak. Maybe hasn't cooled off from that earlier match, so could potentially replicate it. Looks like Germany maybe wanting to test how fatigued this United States roster is by going for that protect. It's so easy to swing a good team score on this, but on the same token, very easy for it to just completely fall apart if things go cataclysmically wrong.
Absolutely, that is true. But, you know, Germany in their last match actually having missed on both players, that could easily turn into two full combos. I would not be surprised to see something like that come around. And general accuracy on this, I imagine, is going to be pretty good from both sides, especially if Germany's going to first pick this against the United States' protect.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the bar for this pick in particular in the context of this match has to be above, say, like a 99.8. I feel like a singular miss could just swing this one way or the other to where it's just unrecoverable.
Absolutely could. Accuracy is currently favoring the United States. We see it, Sukia actually dropping down below the 99.5s in this intro section. Not going to turn out super well with both of the United States players with 99.9, but Sinkip holding on. Similarly, Mashu with the first break, though, that's going to help keep the lead a little bit smaller, keep Germany within grasp if a couple more mistakes come out, or if they're able to really lock down that accuracy.
Yeah, we saw this in the match against Sweden, but I think the United States was kind of banking on the fact that Sweden was also trading some of those misses back. Don't have the luxury for the moment as both Germans holding on to their full combos. It's just by sheer virtue of the accuracy discrepancy between the two countries. Now that Mashu is back up over that 400 combo cap, going to be able to mitigate some of the damage that they took from that earlier miss because of the fact that Sukiya is going to find the drop in the transition over into the back half of the chart now.
That is true. Bunsen still holding on to an impressive accuracy. Sinkip was holding on to the United States' accuracy, still has a full combo, just dropping a little bit of accuracy comparatively to the United States side at that 99.7. Mashu, despite the break, was pretty clean, still holding up on that high 99.8, and that miss from Sukiya is doubly painful because they were already on the lower end of accuracy compared to the other 3 players in this lobby.
Yeah, for sure. And like I was mentioning at the top of this map, this can go wrong in an instant. And it's just those tiny little hiccups, especially now we're getting the 1/4s. Those little bursts starting to sneak their way into all the 1-2 chord jack that you've been playing. Trying to keep your composure through some of those rolls is of the utmost importance. And right now, just little chips of damage on the side of Germany, not getting answered back by the United States. In fact, they are climbing as we approach this ending.
And that's going to do it. An impressive team score from the United States. 1 miss overall. No 200s on the board from the United States at all. And that's just a tough score to beat.
Yeah, when you're on, you are on and dialed in. Look at that score from Bunsen, able to replicate. And I think they even improved on their performance against Sweden on this map. Another 997 coming through here, the V1SS as well. Showing Germany why you don't pick your opponent's protect. They can do it. They can play it.
They can play it. They protected it for a reason. I mean, an even better improvement from the previous time they played that. I think for both teams, an improvement from both of them. Just for Germany, unfortunately, not going to be able to be enough to take that point. And the United States starting off on the best foot possible, getting that break point, bringing it to their own pick, and potentially maybe a long road pick comes out here.
Potentially it does open the door for them to maybe venture out away from what they were planning on going for. You can get a little risky with this pick. Now you have the breakpoint in the back pocket.
Oh, Hybrid 3 though comes out as the pick. That's gonna be that is going to be interesting because I've mentioned this multiple times this weekend, but this map not too difficult for the first 75%.
Yeah, it's really, once you get to that speed up at the end, that it really just kind of flies off the handle. We've seen some wild swings so far this weekend on that once we get there.
I've seen pretty much 4 full combos turn into 4 players chain missing on that ending. It gets rough.
Yeah. And we see a substitution for Germany. Vinkist coming in to contest on this pick. Bunsen and Mashu staying put. Sukiya as well. MP Star Command comes out. We're going to get into the second pick of this best of 11 United States. Riding high off the back of that early breakpoint here. Can they capitalize?
We will have to see. United States going into this as the first pick have to be feeling a little bit confident, maybe banking on a little bit of that physicality required through the ending, hoping for a little bit of a collapse from Germany. But I imagine they're also kind of taking into account they were capable of beating them on Rice for the Germans' first pick. And they probably feel a little more comfortable on long notes, so maybe getting that hybrid out of the way is a little bit of a safer entry into the long note pool than they were maybe thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. But for right now, everybody staying relatively steady. We see a couple of hiccups in terms of accuracy across the board. And Mashu picking up the first miss.
Oh, double miss.
Soon thereafter. Full combo reset.
That is a double miss from the United States. Traded with by no one on the German side. Both players still holding on to the full combo. Now that I say that, though, Sukiya does find a drop there. And Vinkist follows it up, and the United States takes a quick lead change there.
Yeah, no harm, no foul at the end of the day, as Germany responds with a full combo reset of their own, and now the United States, the timing becomes of the utmost importance. Another double miss.
That is a double miss from them, but Bunsen trades one of them back. Mashu holding on to the combo in this slower section here, but that is still a 15 30,000 point lead for the United States going into this much slower section.
Yeah, I wouldn't call the 16,000 point lead safe. That extra miss in the back pocket now from Sukiya gonna help matters here, but this map is not over till we get to that last quarter. It can still swing. 20,000 points now, growing the advantage for the United States as they manage to hang on, but Bunsen finds a miss in the build-up going into the final section. Not what you want to see here, but it's better here than in that later section.
Yeah, a bit of a heavier long node section. Bunsen and Vinkus trade misses there. Mashu and Sukiya. Now that I say it, though, Sukiya does miss. Mashu, the only player above the 400 combo for the time being, holding on for the United States, keeping that lead about 25,000 points. Sukiya finds another break in this heavier long node section. We're about to exit through this chorus, and we still have that speed up at the end to get through. A lot can still happen.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be able to hold your nerve. Everybody above that 400 combo cap, which is important. If you can hang on and your opponent starts to falter, this is the golden opportunity. But Vinkus, right on the offset, begins with a drop. Bunsen trades it back here. It is 30,000 points in favor of the United States still, as Vinkus, they're trading back and forth. Once again, Mashu falls as well. Sukiya is hanging on here despite everything that is happening.
But even despite Sukiya hanging on, the accuracy advantage for the United States and the consistent misses from Vinkus there were enough for the United States to actually expand their lead to 36,000 there. And they are able to take their own point again, starting this match off on the right foot is the United States. Germany, another opportunity to pick and hopefully get themselves into a better situation than they are now.
Yeah, for sure. It got a little bit spicy there at the end. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough map for there to be anything. And with Vinkus starting to find those chain misses at the end, really kind of put a damper on any comeback potential from Germany there at the end. But when all said and done, the United States successfully capitalized on that breakpoint. 2 to the good now. Germany up to pick once again. What do they go for here?
That is I mean, LN pool hasn't been touched. Maybe you go with something like that. Maybe you go with like Rice 5. Go with something a little bit more complex and hope for some misses. Go with something like maybe LN 4. Rice 2 comes out though, so we have Burning Star. I'm not sure I'm a fan of this pick after how Rice 4 went.
Yeah, staying with the more straightforward picks, maybe not advisable given how, like you mentioned, how Rice 4 went, because Rice 5, Rice 6 offers that opportunity to kind of catch your opponent off guard with some of the more technical patterns, those grace notes, those flams that can really kind of throw a wrench in the performance if you're not too careful. But staking with the more comfortable chord stream, and especially with something like Burning Star, you bring Bunsen and Mashu back into the equation. Everybody in this lobby can swing a performance on this, and it really just is about mitigating the amount of misses you find on a chart like this.
It absolutely is. And what is maybe important to mention about this compared to Rice 4, I think when it comes to Jack play, especially in 7 key, coordination is so important. Finger independence and finger coordination becomes such a big part of the game that when you have something like Jack's, that's still important. I think that's still true for denser chord stream, but I think it's less like impactful on like how comfortable something feels when it's chord stream versus like an awkward Jack pattern in 7 key. So there's potential for that to come into play if Germany feels more comfortable on chord stream than they do on Jacks. Then there's potential for this to go a little bit better than what we saw in Rice 4.
Yeah, for sure, especially off the back of the fact that they did protect Rice 3, which is in and of itself basically another chord stream pick. So maybe there's something there that they know that we're missing, but they're going to have to perform on this. They're reeling at the moment, and it could potentially get worse. Did have some substitutions there while we were discussing that. Potato stepping in for the United States, and Sinkip coming back in for Germany to contest on this pick.
Yeah, luckily for these two teams, they don't have to get too far into the really dense stuff. These early sections, not too bad. Bunsen, though, an uncharacteristic miss. Trades back by Sukiya a little bit on the early side of this map. 400 combo. Not going to be quite as impactful as if a miss happens now. But the United States, with the accuracy and the trade and miss, will hold on to a small lead.
Yeah, I feel like this was what Germany was hoping for. Not the misses from Sukiya as he transitioned out of the break, but just catching the United States slipping up with a couple of misses of their own. Right now, it falls on the shoulders of Sinkip to kind of keep the ship afloat as we continue on, but Potato is putting up a heck of a performance at the moment, holding on to the highest accuracy in this lobby. Bunsen in full support, accounting for the 7,000 point lead as we transition on into the second third now. With Sinkip falling, both FCs gone for Germany now.
Now there's just one FC left. Like you said, Potato holding on for the team. Skia finding another break, extending that lead for the United States. Both players since that first miss from Bunsen, locking it in. We see that the accuracy from Potato actually drops a little bit. Bunsen now with the highest accuracy in the lobby, but everyone kind of even in terms of accuracy in the lobby. Sinkip just behind everyone else at 9.4, but Potato and Bunsen full team miss for the United States, and that's going to help shrink that lead just a little bit. Germany might be right back in this.
Yeah, they're holding on. They're steady. They're starting to balance out their accuracy. They're chipping away at this American lead as we continue on into the last third. Now a tiny bit of a break for the players to kind of recompose themselves and regain some accuracy. Very importantly, both Bunsen and Potato are now over that 400 combo cap. Gonna start getting full credit for their judgments once again, with an opportunity to again rebuild the accuracy that was lost. But Potato finds a drop.
I think that's going to give the lead straight to Germany as long as there's no breaks. Accuracy from Sinkip actually higher than Potato right now. Bunsen and Skia exactly even. Bunsen with a break. Germany has the lead right now in the end. But Sinkip trades it.
Oh, there's a quarter map left to go. It's still anybody's game. This is such a fragile lead. Bunsen finds another drop. It is still relatively clean, but right now Sukiya is starting to pull away as we approach this ending. An eighth of the chart left to go. It is 3,000 points in favor of Germany as we continue on here. Can they hang on? They cannot afford to break this lead.
No, but you said that. Sinkip finds a break. It's shrinking. The lead shrinking just a little bit. We have just a few nodes left in this map. We're at 900k score. We're at a 2,000 point lead for Germany as Sinkip misses again. Potato trades it back. They're both missing. Everything too much is happening. Potato drops at the end. 6,000 point. Germany takes a point. Oh my goodness.
And breathe.
I can't. No, breathing's not allowed. Breathing can't happen. Not when matches are this close.
That was too close for comfort if you are Germany. But at the end of the day, Sukiya with the clutch outro performance to ensure that they got themselves over the line. What a performance from them to be able to notch the first point on the board for Germany. It is now 2-1. Don't need to get that break point though as we keep this match going.
Yeah, the United States is a break point ahead, and as long as they win their own points, they will still be in a good position to take the win in this match. But Rice seems to be maybe Germany's strong suit at this point. A little bit, Rice one being the ban, maybe a little bit of an awkward situation, because I think the United States is going to stick more around that hybrid long note area now, especially with Germany putting up an incredible performance on Rice 4 there, or on Rice 2, sorry.
Yeah, and I was gonna start going onto a tirade about how LN becomes the avenue forward for the United States. 8-Bit Adventure feels like the right pick. Would have also enjoyed LN4 for different reasons, but LN3.
I need to look back at the United States score on LN4 because it wasn't as like that was really close between the United States and their previous opponent. And Germany had a solid score on this in their last match as well. Not on this, on LN4, I should say. But 8-Bit Adventure, a little bit of a different scenario, more Rice focused. And I have no doubt that all four of these players can handle this. It's just a matter of whether they're going to be able to read through some of the denser patterns.
Yeah, it really does become the name of the game there. You can kind of pseudo play this as a court stream pick. Some of the patterns get dense enough, but there's enough staggered releases that can really punish you if you start to get a little lackadaisical with your technique here. So gonna be interesting to watch. Door is open for Germany to take this break point, but the United States is not going to make it easy as we get right on into it. Vinkus stepping back in for this LN pick.
Yeah, still got Mashu and Bunsen in. Bunsen with an early break on the long nodes here. more density focus. Vinkus trading it back. Mashu also missing 1 FC left. Never mind, 0 FCs left as everyone finds a break in that intro. But the United States take the very slightest lead. Mashu misses again. All players except Mashu now above 400, getting full combo advantage here.
Yeah, these full playfield runs are just going to pop people's combos as we continue on. Mashu, the next one to fall. Not answered back this time by the Germans, but they're still hanging on to a higher accuracy than Vinkus at the moment. If they can keep themselves ahead, that should play well for the United States. But Bunsen falling as well, not going to help matters here as Germany now being brought back into the fold off the back of 2 monstrous combos, now 1 as Vinkus falls. Sukiya still hanging on here as we continue on into the back half now.
Bunsen does trade that back. Important to take note of, because of how dense this is with the long nodes, it does not take long for these players to get back to that 400 combo mark. So combo advantage not going to be as big as the accuracy drops that come along with it. Vinkus dropping there as well, trying to build back up to that 400, almost there already. United States sort of running away with this a little bit. 17,000 points as we get into a little bit of a less dense section. Mashu does find a break as well along with Vinkus. But the United States holding on just enough with that accuracy to hold on to a lead. And as long as nothing bad happens for the United States, it's looking like they're able to protect their own pick here.
Yeah, look a little bit dicey there in the middle section. Some valiant efforts on the side of Germany, but not going to amount to anything as this chart comes to an end. The United States survives probably one of the riskier LN picks in this pool and take it away, making it 3-1 now.
That is true. Germany not able to take away a break point just yet. They will need at least 1 if they want a chance to win back this match. But it is Germany's pick. They won Race 2. I could imagine a Race 3 pick coming out, given how well Race 2 went.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be very confident going into Rice 3. Now, given how Rice 2 went, there were some swings back and forth, but able to basically hunker down. And
there, yeah, Rice 3 comes out almost immediately. So they picked their opponent's protect and their own, which interesting strategy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe looking back on it, that Rice 4 pick maybe might have been a little overzealous, maybe a bit optimistic.
Maybe a bit, but I mean, if they're feeling confident like they have been on straightforward picks, I think Rice 4 makes sense as like, that's what I want to attack. It's a little bit on the riskier side, but you still feel confident that you can perform it well. It just so happened that the United States also very good at that map.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, in the long run, you do prevent that being used against you later on in the match. So you don't give the United States an opportunity to close out on that pick if you feel like you might have been at a disadvantage from the offset. So maybe some late game strategy being employed here, but now it means that they do have to get a break point away from the United States. Some opportunities will present themselves. There are some maps in here that could potentially give the United States a bit of an issue if they are forced to pick into it, but as it stands, it is still advantage the United States with that breakpoint as Potato comes back in along with Sinkip for their respective countries.
Yeah, same teams we saw for Rice 2. Not too surprising to see these two players come back in. Sinkip replacing Vinkus and Potato replacing Mashu for the Germany and United States respectively. That seems to be the confident Rice teams on each side, especially for like more straightforward stuff.
And here we go, gonna get underway with the 5th map of this best of 11. Reminder, these two countries playing for their tournament lives, so not a lot of room for error as we get further and further into this match.
Indeed. We've got a little bit of an intro here, just got lots of time, wait until all the players skip it, but it looks like not everyone wants to skip. Give themselves a little more time to breathe. I don't blame them for wanting to breathe. Can't lie. I want to do the same thing right now.
Absolutely. And why would you want to skip an intro like this? This song transcends every game mode. It feels like it's a constant presence. in any tournament that we've found ourselves casting. It's
Maybe
a
that's
mainstay.
because we're Mania players, and this is everywhere in Mania.
True.
I mean, this is maybe the fourth or fifth time this has been just in the Mania World Cups, so a pretty common song as far as we're concerned. But we get into the first few notes, and we see I was about to say no major issues, but Skia does find an early drop before the 400 combo, so misses now are going to be a little more impactful, but still, that is going to give the United States an early lead here.
Yeah, but thankfully, bit of a clean drop overall, already rebuilding, about to catch up to Potato in terms of accuracy. Sinkiv holding the fort down as Potato finds the trade in return, and a little bit later now, so it gives Sukiya a chance to get back up with that 400 combo cap, get into a tiny bit more damage as Potato begins to recover, but it's still advantage United States off the back of this performance from Bunsen at the moment. 99.8, a couple of 200 coming through, and the miss from Potato going to swing this lead immediately back over to the Germans as quickly as I said that, going into the second third now.
Oh, and Potato just not able to get any footing, but Bunsen also finding a break right in the break. We've got two large combos for Germany here on this pick, and right in the break, that's going to give Germany a huge advantage going into this second half. It's just going to take a little bit longer for the United States to build that up. Bunsen finding another break in that transition there. It's a 16,000 point advantage for Germany right now.
Yeah, still scalable, but this hill can quickly become a mountain. No more room for error, but Bunsen finding another break on these chords. Bit uncharacteristic. It's pretty light for what they're able to put out, especially because of that performance on Rise 4. This is looking better and better for Germany as it stands before we begin the build-up into the next section. Still a quarter of the map left to go. Anything can still happen, but Germany looking really strong right now off the back of this 20,000 point lead.
Indeed, everyone back up at the 400 combos. Accuracy seems to be slightly favoring the United States. Skia with a 99.7, though. Potato with that drop is going to help. Double drop from Potato there. Might just seal it for Germany. They might just be running away with this point now.
Yeah, absolutely. A tiny sliver of map left to go. Potato not able to establish a foothold in this map, in this outro. Maybe a little bit too much for them. Sinkiv falls. Finally, the sole surviving FC in the lobby is gone. Sukiya here to pick up the pieces as they secure their second point. It is now 3-2, still in favor of the United States. Germany still needs to get that break point, but looking really strong on both of these core stream picks.
Yeah, this is just the classic accuracy versus combo, and in this case, combo won. But still no breakpoints for Germany. The United States has a pick here and needs to make sure they win it. If they let go of a breakpoint, Germany is right back in this match.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, what do you go for here to try and ensure you maintain your foot on the pedal? I mentioned LN4 before the previous LN pick, but
I don't know if I'd go with LN4 in this scenario. Like I said, Germany had a pretty solid LN4 score in their previous match, similar to what the United States was able to put out. Mm-hmm. I'd almost prefer to see LN1 or LN2. Maybe even Hybrid 1. I can see Hybrid 1 being a good pick. But no, LN4 does come out. LN4 is the pick. Oh, I'm so nervous.
Yeah, Fansa is definitely an LN chart. This is going to be an adventure. It's going to be a war of attrition between these two countries.
I think whoever misses less on this wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty straightforward way of putting it. I think it comes down to the power of friendship at the end of the day. There are so many heart patterns.
The power of friendship?
Yes, think about it. All the heart patterns that are found in the back half of this chart.
I was judging it, but I understand what you mean now. You are totally right. Whoever has the power of friendship on their side wins this.
Exactly. Like, we'll see whose bonds are stronger and who can withstand the barrage that is to come, because oh boy, does it get wacky.
It won't matter until we get to the end. Whoever hits the heart patterns wins. Because they
Basically.
have the power of friendship on their side.
And Vinka's having the power of mirror on their side, wanting to do this on the offhand. Thankfully, perfectly symmetrical hearts, so
Yeah, we
equal
won't miss out
amounts
on
of pain.
those. A little bit of a 200, a couple 200 drops from Vinkus, and a miss right out the gate from Vinkus. It's already one full combo gone, 2-1, as we get into some of those easier starting patterns for this map before we get into like true O2 jam dumpy LN styles.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the Germans at the moment. And this could potentially open some more doors for the United States further on into this match. If they can just kind of keep poking away at what is a perceived weakness, as Bunsen loses their FC as well, but pales in comparison to what's happening on the other side, already eclipsing 14,000 points of an advantage through this introduction going into the second quarter. Despite Sukiya holding on to the highest accuracy in this lobby, it's the misses that are really doing the bulk of the damage right now for Germany.
Yeah, I mean, we have 399s. Skia does find a drop there and actually drops again, getting close to the accuracy of both United States players. Mashu finds a drop. We've got one person with a combo on the board right now, and that's Bunsen above 1,000. Vinkus right behind them at 900. I need to stop saying names.
That was signed, sealed, and delivered that time. I feel
telepathically. No, I wrote it. I wrote it on the mailbox. I gave it to the mailman. Was like, deliver this to Vinkus, please. And didn't work out too well for me. Bunsen finds a drop there. Also drops the big combo. Reverses the big combo. Skia and Mashu above 400 now. Even on both sides, but the accuracy advantage in the United States' court right now. 35,000 points of difference going into this solo.
Yeah, we approach the last third now, and we're going to start to see those aforementioned heart patterns begin to kind of litter the playfield, and it's just a matter of who can hang on to them the best. Sukiya finds an early drop, building up into that section, gonna reset their combo. There's not a lot of density for them to climb back up over that 400 combo cap on, but as things start to get a little denser, we'll start to see them get back into the fold. Bunsen finds a drop on this build-up. Mashu, oh my goodness, a full team reset on Germany.
Yeah, Mashu the only combo surviving from that break. Heart patterns, 3 people drop on the heart patterns. Skia Whispers, the only player capable of reading through them and not dropping combo. The power of friendship not helping though, with the United States still holding on to that lead here.
If anything, the lead is growing in favor of the United States. 56,000 points, a bit of a runaway now, as this map just did not pull any punches across the board. Everybody finding some level of difficulty with what was being asked of them. But at the end of the day, the United States able to hang on till the end, make it 4-2 now. And I mean, they've still got 2 LN maps open. They're probably going to be insta-locks now.
Not to mention that 0 miss score from Mashu. What an impressive performance. Skia Whispers with slightly lower 200 count actually getting the MVP. Both players really showing out for this. But Bunsen just getting that supporting score, able to bring the United States their victory on this, bring it 4-2, stop Germany from taking another break point. And it's back to Germany's pick. They've got 2 tech picks available to them, and then hybrid. There's no way they're going for any of the non-Rice picks here. I think it's either Rice 5 or Rice 6. I think Rice 6 is the right choice for Germany here.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Breaking and entering only had 1 match play that map so far, and sure enough, Rice 6 getting locked in.
Yeah, and that match was the previous match with the United States in it. So Germany knows what scores to expect from the United States team on breaking and entering. Cosmic Railroad not played. They don't exactly know what's going to happen, but this is simpler on the pattern side of things. Just very varying in terms of like rhythm, and has a little bit of some awkwardness with some mini jacks. But certainly if they were capable of doing Rice 2 and Rice 3, I think this should be no problem for them.
Absolutely, and with that being said, just waiting on, looks like Bunsen needing to be moved back into the lobby. Maybe client crashed, maybe got stuck on the results screen, but should be taken care of before too long. Not a very long pick either by any stretch of the imagination, just over 2 minutes.
Yeah, and a good portion of this map is basically just chord stream. There are a couple like implied mini jacks and some rhythm changes with some bursts, but the entire second half of this is largely very accuracy heavy. The first half is going to give us a little bit of an idea of how these two teams deal with more technical patterns, but the second half definitely is going to be where making sure you keep combo and stay consistent is going to be really important.
For sure. And with that being said, we are loaded in. Got everybody back in here. Syncop checking in for this rice pick for Germany. See if they can keep things as level as possible. Still needing to get that break point, but still got to win their own picks as well. So we'll see how they do here.
Double miss, 2 misses, 1 on each side. Mashu and Syncop trading that back and forth. A little bit of a better time for Mashu there, holding on to the 99. Syncop dropping below it, dropping again, actually, but Skia and Bunsen, 2 full combos, both around the same accuracy, hovering around that 99.7 range. America is going to keep that lead here at around 8,000 now as Syncop tries to build back up to the 400 combo with this more technical section.
Yeah, still we continue on. Syncop able to get themselves over that 99% mark, and it needs to start climbing, but a full combo reset on the side of Germany. Sukiya falls along with Syncop, and that's gonna hurt really badly as we get into this bit of a break section. Some free time for the United States to build their accuracy and really stretch out this advantage that they've built up now. Back half upcoming, 25,000 points to the good now.
Yeah, both players in the United States actually out-acking their German counterparts, and Bunsen with the full combo is helping stretch that lead. Almost 30,000 points at this point, looking a lot stronger than the previous 2 rice picks we saw come out from Germany. Syncop finding another break. No breaks from anyone else so far. Everyone else at the 400 combo mark. Mashu, though, does trade that back, and it's going to help keep that lead a little from growing too much more. But like I said, this ending, a lot about that consistency with the changing rhythms and mostly chord stream patterns. Everyone comboing through that jack transition and looking good, and the consistency looking incredible from both teams here.
Yeah, for sure. When everybody kind of locks in, gets settled into a bit of a groove, things look really even, but it's what happened before that has really set the tone for this pick so far. A multitude of misses coming out from Germany. Traded back a couple of times by the United States, but off the back of Bunsen really recovering and hunkering down once again, showing the level of performance that they're capable of, it becomes a bit of a runaway. 32,000 points, another break point in the back pocket for the United States, and a match point situation with their pick upcoming.
Absolutely. Really good position. 2 break points ahead, and they've got Hybrid 3 available. They've got LN1 and LN2 available. They've got pretty much the pick of the litter of whatever they feel the most comfortable with to go for.
I feel like I was gonna say they already made the decision for me. LN2, so okay, throw that thought out the window.
I probably would have said Hybrid 3 is the right pick, but maybe that's just, sorry, I was wrong. They already played Hybrid 3. Hybrid 1 is the right pick here. But LN2, I can't hate on this pick from the United States. They won both of the long note picks so far, and this one maybe a little bit slower, maybe a little more approachable, but Germany certainly has not looked comfortable. Not just in the sense of they've lost both of the other long note picks, but also they haven't been picking them. They haven't even picked a hybrid.
Yeah, they've definitely wanted to avoid these picks, and we see some substitutions, some mix-ups here. Tasty Dumpling coming in for the United States, probably more comfortable on these lower BPM LN picks. Vinka's coming in to round out, try and lend some support to Sukiya, who has been kind of showing out on these LN picks, just hasn't had the supporting score to really contest against the balanced approach from the United States. Could change here. Different style pick could open the doors for them.
Absolutely could. Early intro, we've got no major issues. We've had Vinka's not having the best time keeping accuracy in this intro, but Mashu kind of following that up with the same, but Skia finds the first miss, gives the United States a little bit of a lead, and lets Tasty Dumping really show off that LN ability.
Yeah, for sure. A second drop from Sukiya, not having the best of times through this introduction. A third one to boot, down below the 99% mark, joining their teammate. Despite Vinkus holding on to the FC, you really need somebody to kind of take the mantle in terms of the accuracy to contest. And now Vinkus falls as well. No major combos on the side of Germany as we proceed on into the second quarter now. Both Tasty and Moshu kind of settling in this mid 99% range. Doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be enough at the end of the day, and they're already nursing a 20,000 point advantage.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand pretty quick. We got 2 full combos on the side of the United States, 0 on the side of Germany. Maybe to be expected from the United States pick, but they're at mid 99% each on the United States side. Skia able to recover pretty well, trying to build up to match with the United States, but that miss from Vinkus definitely maybe a little bit harder to recover from, holding around the mid 98s and allowing the United States to really hold on to a strong lead here.
Yeah, for sure. And basically just the low BPM, there's not a lot thrown at you. It's not like a density pick, but still room for slider breaks. Mashu and Sukiya trading. The trade only helps the United States in this regard. As we continue on here into the back half, Tasty kind of just holding down the fort here for the United States. Still 32,000 points in their favor. They can afford to find a couple of these misses here and there. Can't let it get too out of hand, but it's still a nice cushion to work with at the end of the day.
Definitely a nice cushion. 33,000 points going into the last of this map. Tasty Dumpling, as I said, able to show off that LN skill, though. Skia Whispers, despite the couple of misses that they've been showing, still holding on, matching Mashu, finding another drop. Pretty clean from their side, though. Still holding on to that accuracy, able to just kind of keep Mashu from making a difference. It's all on Tasty Dumpling versus Vinkus here. And Vinkus, really, really good combo, just not able to recover that accuracy in this situation.
Yeah, this combo would have been great if Sukiya was able to hold on to their FC as well. It might have cut this lead in half, might have put in some inroads for Germany to make a comeback, but ultimately it's a day late, dollar short when it comes to the performance coming out here. Admirable. It was an attempt. Fink is finally finding the drop here towards the end, but the damage was already done very early on in this pick. What a performance from Tasty as it comes to an end.
Wow.
That is how you close a map out with the FC, with the win as well. The United States punches their ticket into the lower bracket semifinals by a score of 6-2.
Yeah, what an impressive performance from one of these players. Tasty Dumpling with the FC on 16,200. Skia with an equivalent 200 count, just not able to get the full combo there and a better ratio. So this could have been a completely different game if we saw a few fewer like combo breaks in this scenario. But Germany taking 2 points off of a team 8 seeds ahead of them. An impressive performance nonetheless, and certainly showing that they were no joke when it came to this match.
Yeah, for sure. On any given day, could have been a completely different story here, but ultimately the United States getting the job done when it mattered. And that will do it for the Saturday block of matches. We've made it through a large majority of that first chunk of the weekend. We're going to take a pretty sizable break now. The next match going to be a winner's bracket showdown. It's going to be the Philippines taking on Japan at 11 UTC Sunday.
Yeah, actually the last winner's bracket match of this weekend. Every other match we have, Russia versus Indonesia, Brazil, Taiwan, and Poland, Vietnam are all losers bracket matches, all for their lives in the semifinals. Winners of all three, actually, so Philippines and Japan already in semifinals. One of them will be in the losers bracket, but the other 3 matches fighting for those last 3 spots in semifinals. So it's going to be an exciting block of matches tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to look forward to. And Toph, I don't know about you. I love all the teams that have been participating in this World Cup. This expanded format has really allowed us to see more countries, what they have on offer. Is there any way I can support any of the countries on display here?
My goodness, Sparky, I'm so glad you asked, because I too am really happy that we've gotten to include 8 extra teams compared to the previous years. We got 24 teams that you can all support by buying banners from the Osu store. All 24 teams, even if they've already been eliminated, have banners up for sale on the store to support your favorite team and your favorite players. And as an extra bonus, if you buy the banner that predicts the winner of this tournament, you get to keep it for an extra bit of time until the next World Cup comes around. And what a wonderful way to support our teams.
Yeah, absolutely. All the proceeds go towards making this event better for everybody involved, helps the prize pool a little bit. Toph, what if I'm indecisive? What if I can't just pick one team, though?
Oh, you're in luck, Sparky, because you can buy multiple banners. You can buy as many banners as you want. If you really wanted to, you could buy all 24 teams' banners.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like an amazing deal. And all for the low cost of $2.50 USD. Why would you not want to buy a banner?
Why would you not? I don't have a reason why you wouldn't.
Absolutely. But with that being said, that will do it for us here. Go ahead, take as long of a break as you want. We'll be back in about 14 hours, 11 UTC. Put it down on the calendar. Philippines versus Japan. Do not want to miss it. Until then, we'll catch you guys later.